You're just too fat for me. The sentence sliced through the warm buzz of the restaurant so sharply that even the music seemed to fade for a second. Chairs scraped, forks paused. At a small table by the window of Willow and Vine, a cozy little bistro in Portland, a woman in a blue wrap dress suddenly felt like everyone could hear the sound of her heart cracking. If you've ever been judged for your body, if anyone has ever made you feel not enough because of how you look, stay with this story. And if you love emotional, cinematic stories about unexpected kindness, healing, and second chances, hit subscribe to Extraordinary Stories, tap the like button, and turn on the notification bell right now, because what started as the worst blind date of her life became the night that changed 3 lives forever, thanks to a single dad sitting at the next table. Her name was Lena Parker, 30 years old, pediatric nurse, soft brown hair pinned back with effort, and a lot of bobby pins. Hazel eyes that usually lit up when she talked about her tiny patients, but right now were full of shock and humiliation. Across from her, her blind date lounged back in his chair like he'd just done something noble. "My photos are accurate," he said, gesturing at himself. "Yours are generous. I'm a trainer. I have a brand. I can't be seen with someone your size. That's just reality. You're too big for me. Too fat. It's bad optics." His name was Brandon. On the dating app he'd called himself Brandon Fit, because of course he did. Lena's fingers tightened around her glass of sparkling water. "My pictures are from last month," she managed. "I didn't hide anything." "Yeah," he shrugged. "And that's the problem. Look, don't take it personally. I just have standards." He pulled out his wallet, slid a 20 from it, and flipped it onto the table like he was tossing a tip to a waiter. "That should cover your drink," he added. "Maybe put the rest toward a gym membership, or, I don't know, an app that tracks calories." The bill landed next to her menu with a flat little slap. Something inside Lena shrank and flared at the same time. She was used to comments. The quiet, "You'd be perfect if you lost some weight." The "You've got such a pretty face. It's a shame you don't take care of yourself." The "I'm just worried about your health" from people who hadn't seen a salad in weeks. But this was loud, public, meant to hurt. She felt the heat crawling up her neck. She could feel people at nearby tables pretending not to listen. "Incredible," Brandon muttered, getting to his feet. "I skip leg day one time for this?" He turned to leave. "Stop." The voice didn't come from Lena. It came from the booth behind her. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was calm in a way that made everyone go quiet without even realizing why. At that booth sat a man in a gray Henley and worn jeans. He'd been eating alone, a kid's backpack propped on the seat beside him, a half-finished plate of lasagna on the table. He stood up slowly. "Excuse me?" Brandon scoffed. "This is a private conversation. Not when you're shouting it over the carbonara," the man replied. "You've said enough. You can go." Lena turned slightly, just enough to see him. He was a little older than her. Mid-30s, broad shoulders, hair a little messy, like he'd run his hands through it 1,000 times that day. There were faint lines at the corners of his eyes, the kind grief leaves behind. "I'm just being honest," Brandon said, folding his arms. "What, are you her boyfriend?" The stranger stepped closer, not aggressively, just confidently. He didn't look at Brandon. He pulled out the chair across from Lena, the one Brandon had just vacated, turned it toward her, and sat down, as if the other man were no longer interesting. Then he met Lena's eyes. "Hey," he said softly. "Do you mind if I sit here for a while? You shouldn't have to finish this night alone." She hesitated for half a second, then nodded. He turned his head just enough to speak over his shoulder. "And for the record," he added, "she's beautiful. You're just too shallow to see it. Now walk away, before I forget my 7-year-old told me to use my words instead of my fists." A couple at the neighboring table snorted into their wine glasses. Someone at the bar muttered, "Good," under their breath. Brandon's jaw tightened. "Whatever," he snapped. "Enjoy your pity date." He snatched the 20 back from the table, because of course he did, shoved it into his pocket, and stalked out. The bell over the door jingled cheerfully behind him. Bit by bit, The restaurant noise returned to normal. Forks resumed their paths. A server exhaled. Lena stared at the table, cheeks burning. I'm sorry, she whispered to the stranger. You didn't have to do that. Yes, he said quietly. I did. He grabbed a napkin and slid it to her side. Nobody talks to you like that, he added. Not if I can help it. She dabbed at her eyes and gave a tiny, shaky laugh. I must look like a mess, she murmured. He studied her face, not with the cold, measuring look she was used to, but with actual curiosity. You look like someone who just got hit by a truck made of insecurity and protein powder, he said. That's not on you. I'm Jack Miller, by the way. Lena, she replied. Lena Parker. Nice to meet you, Lena Parker, he said, and he genuinely sounded like he meant it. Before she could find something else to say, a man in a white apron appeared with 2 steaming plates. Lasagna, he announced, setting one down in front of Jack and one in front of Lena. For the gentleman with the backbone and the lady with the brave eyes. I didn't order this, Lena said automatically. It's on the house, the man said firmly. His name tag read, Marco Russo. Anyone who stands up to a stronzo like that eats free here. So does the person he tried to crush. Tonight you eat real food, not shame. Deal? Emotion pricked at the back of her eyes again. Thank you, she managed. Mr. Russo leaned down just a little. Listen, he said quietly. I've been married forever. No real man talks like that about a woman. You hear me? No real man. He's not the standard. He's the warning. He straightened and marched away, muttering in Italian. The lasagna smelled incredible. Rich tomato, melted cheese, fresh basil. Lena's stomach, traitorous thing, growled. I don't know if I can eat, she admitted. I feel sick. That's okay, Jack said. The food will wait. There's no test here. He took a bite of his own and closed his eyes briefly. Oh, that's good, he said. Like, might heal childhood trauma? Good. Despite herself, Lena snorted. Jack glanced at the blue wrap dress, at her still shaky hands. I'm guessing this isn't your first terrible date, he said gently. Third, she said. In 2 years. First guy told me I'd be out of his league if I lost 20 pounds. Second one spent the whole night showing me photos of his ex. Tonight we're going for a full public humiliation arc, apparently. Then you still haven't had a real date, Jack said. You've just done a series of auditions for the role of decoration. And you're an expert on real dates? She shot back, a little edge in her voice. Used to be, he said. I've been retired for a while. He shifted, and the chain around his neck moved. A gold ring slipped briefly into view before he tucked it back out of sight. Lena saw the flicker. I'm sorry, she said quietly. You're married? I was, he replied. Brooke died 1.5 years ago. Routine surgery. Rare reaction. 1 in a million, they said. I didn't like those odds. Lena felt that in her chest. She'd stood next to doctors who said those words. She'd seen the faces on the receiving end. I'm really sorry, she said, and it came out soft, sincere. Me too, he answered. He took a breath. We have a daughter, he added. Sophie. She's 7. She usually sits there. He nodded toward the seat where the kid's backpack still lay. Tuesdays are our night, he said. We come here, eat lasagna, talk about everything and nothing. Tonight she's with my sister. She's sick. Claims orange juice is evil medicine. That sounds like half my patients, Lena said. Kids hate anything that might help them. They fell into conversation the way you fall into a warm chair after a long day. She told him about being a pediatric nurse at St. Mary's Children's Hospital, about tiny hands gripping her finger, about the way parents' faces changed when she said, "He's going to be okay." He told her about Sophie, about the time she'd given their dog a glitter makeover, about how she insisted mismatched socks were a fashion statement, about how she'd once asked if clouds were God's thought bubbles. At some point, Lena realized her fork was moving, almost without her noticing. Bite after bite, the knot in her stomach loosened. When they finally pushed their plates away, The restaurant had thinned out. Outside, the sky was black and damp, raindrops speckling the pavement under the streetlights. They walked out together. "I'm really glad you came over," Lena said. "Thank you for everything." "You don't owe me thanks," Jack replied. "You deserved someone to say, 'This isn't okay,' long before I ever showed up. I just happened to be the guy in the booth behind you." He hesitated, then pulled out his phone. "Look," he said, "I'm not asking you out. I'm barely qualified to keep a houseplant alive right now, let alone manage a relationship. But if you ever want to talk, or if you ever have another night like this, and need someone to remind you that one guy's opinion isn't the truth, can I give you my number? As a friend?" Lena looked at him. He wasn't looking at her like she was a project to fix, just like she was a person. "Okay," she said. "Friends." They swapped numbers. On the ride home, still smelling faintly of garlic and rain, her phone buzzed. From Jack. "Tonight was rough, and then a little bit beautiful. I'm glad I got to see the beautiful part. Sleep well, friend." Lena stared at the message for a long time. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. "Thank you. You too. I'm glad you were there." She deleted the words, turned off the screen, and lay down in the dark. Hope was fragile. Shame, on the other hand, had a megaphone. Jack didn't push. He didn't call 10 times. He didn't send dramatic paragraphs. He just stayed present. 2 days after the lasagna night, Lena was charting vitals at the nurse's station when her phone buzzed. From Jack. "Sophie just informed me that vegetables are leaf crimes. Not sure how to parent through this." Lena bit back a smile and slid her phone back into her pocket. She didn't reply. At home, she opened the message again in the dim glow of her bedroom. She could almost hear his voice, amused and tired. She started to type, "Tell her I fully support her in this fight." Then she erased it, locked the screen, and tossed the phone on the bed. 3 days later. From Jack. "Be honest. Is cereal an acceptable dinner 3 nights in a row if I add a banana? Asking for a friend?" She laughed, out loud, alone in her kitchen. Then she shook her head, annoyed at herself for laughing. Brandon's voice still echoed. "Too big. Bad optics. Not my type." Her ex-fiancé's voice joined in. "You'd be perfect if you just lost a little." Voices had a way of piling up until they sounded like truth. A week after the restaurant, after a particularly brutal shift, one code blue, one set of parents collapsing into each other in the hallway, one toddler who'd clung to her and whispered, "Stay, nurse, I scared." Lena sank onto her couch and finally listened to the voicemail she'd been avoiding. "Hey," Jack's voice said, a little awkward. "It's Jack, obviously." He cleared his throat. I'm not calling to demand anything. I just wanted to say something in case that guy's words are still hanging around in your head, because I know how those things echo." A pause. Restaurant sounds in the background, faint in his memory. "He was wrong," Jack said simply. "About you, about your body, about your worth. You don't really know me, and I don't really know you, but I saw how you sat there, trying not to cry. I saw you stand up to a long night's worth of humiliation without throwing that 20 in his face. That's strength, not weakness. That's worth something." Another pause. "Okay, I'm rambling," he said. "This is dangerously close to a self-help podcast. I'll stop. Just be kind to yourself tonight, okay? Bye." The message ended. Lena sat very still. Then she played it again. The next weekend, her best friend Maya showed up with coffee and a stormy expression. "You've been a ghost," Maya said, dropping onto the couch. "You bailed on brunch. You left my last 5 messages on read. Spill. Now. I brought caffeine, but I'm not above emotional violence." Lena laughed weakly and told her everything. The insult, the rescue, the lasagna, the texts she'd ignored, the voicemail she couldn't forget. Maya listened, expression shifting from horrified to amused to furious to soft. "Okay," Maya said finally, setting her coffee down. "A man stands up for you in a restaurant, backs you up without making it about his ego, eats lasagna with you, texts you about his kid and his dog, and your reaction is to vanish? I'm scared, Lena said. What if I get used to him being there, and then he decides I'm not worth it? What if I walk into a coffee shop and he looks at me in daylight and thinks, oh, that's what she really looks like? Lena, Maya said, he already saw you in restaurant lighting. That's worse than daylight. And he still sat down. Lena hesitated. I don't know how to let someone be kind without wondering what they want in return. Maybe what he wants is to be kind, Maya said. Some people are like that. Lena raised an eyebrow. Have you met people? Okay, fair, Maya said. Most people are chaos, but not all of them. She grabbed Lena's phone and placed it in her hand. You're allowed to protect yourself, she said, but don't protect yourself from the wrong person. After she left, the apartment felt too quiet. The next message came 3 days later. From Jack. I promise I'm not trying to bug you. This will be my last message, unless you reach out. I just want to say this clearly once. I didn't sit down with you because I pitied you. I sat down because what he said was wrong, and someone needed to say so. If you ever want a friend who doesn't need you to shrink to feel big, I'm here. If not, that's okay too. Lena stared at the screen, heart pounding. Her thumbs finally moved. Coffee sometime? Just as friends. His reply popped up almost immediately. Absolutely. You pick the place. I'll bring bad jokes and probably crumbs. They met at a small cafe a few blocks from the hospital. The kind of place with handwritten chalkboard menus, mismatched chairs, and a barista who pretended not to eavesdrop, but definitely did. Lena arrived early and sat facing the door. She'd chosen an outfit that felt honest. Dark jeans, a mustard yellow sweater, sneakers, minimal makeup, no trying to look smaller, just trying to look like herself. When Jack walked in, shaking raindrops from his hair, his whole face softened at the sight of her. There you are, he said, smiling. I was starting to think I dreamed you and Mr. Russo's lasagna. Pretty vivid dream if you remember the garlic, she said. He laughed and sat down. I'm sorry I disappeared, she blurted. You don't owe me an apology, he said. You were allowed to. You still are. I just didn't want my silence to be one more person walking away. It's not that, she said. I'm not used to people being nice without conditions. Conditions like lose 10 pounds and then I'll take you seriously, he said gently. Her eyes widened. Something like that. I get it, he said. I'm not used to people wanting to be around me without a reason either. Half the time it's, wow, you're such a devoted dad, like I'm doing some kind of performance. The other half it's, I could never handle a widower, that's too much baggage. That's cruel, she said. He shrugged. People say things. I can't control that. I can control who I let close enough to matter. He took a sip of his coffee, then looked at her. For what it's worth, he added, coffee with you definitely falls on the worth it side of the scale. Their just friends coffee date became a weekly thing. Thursdays, same table. Sometimes they laughed so hard the barista had to remind them other people existed. Sometimes they sat in comfortable silence, just not being alone. Jack told her about his job in logistics. Lots of trucks, lots of spreadsheets, very few capes. And about the time he'd shown up at school, pick up with 2 different shoes on because he'd dressed in the dark. Lena told him about night shift, about the way kids always got sicker at 3 a.m., about the little girl who'd asked if angels got tired. They texted between coffees. From Jack. Sophie made our dog a tutu. He looks humiliated and fabulous. From Lena. Please send photos immediately. From Jack. Photo of dog in crooked tutu. From Lena. I'm not saying you should start an Instagram for him, but I would follow. One Thursday, Jack walked in with glitter on his face. Lena raised an eyebrow. Tough day at the office? Sophie thought my face needed more spirit, he said. Apparently glitter is the answer. That's true science, Lena said. After about a month of this, Jack asked, how would you feel about meeting Sophie? No pressure. She keeps asking who the nurse who likes robots is. Lena's heart lurched. Robots? she repeated. I told her about the kid with the IV pole called Robot Steve, he said. Now she thinks you're some kind of hero. I'm really not, Lena protested. Funny, he said. I've heard that before, from a lot of nurses who are absolutely heroes. She hesitated. Meeting someone's child wasn't casual. It was a step. It was big. I don't want to confuse her, Lena said. You won't, Jack replied. You'll feed her carbs and listen to her talk about unicorns. She'll be fine. He chanced a small smile. You don't have to say yes, he added. But if you do, we're at Willow and Vine every Tuesday at 6. Lena thought about Mr. Russo's lasagna, about Sophie, feverish and complaining about orange juice, about the empty seat in their booth. Okay, she said. Tuesday, as friends, for all three of us. Jack's shoulders dropped like he'd been holding his breath. Deal, he said. Sophie Miller was 7 years old, 3 feet and a bit of pure chaos, and absolutely not shy. On Tuesday night, Lena walked into Willow and Vine feeling like she was going on stage without a script. Mr. Russo spotted her immediately. Hey, he cried. The nurse, come, your table is ready. The little one has already reorganized the sugar packets. Twice. At their usual booth, a small girl stood on the seat. Brown hair in 2 messy braids, glitter on her cheeks, cartoon unicorn t-shirt, sparkly leggings, mismatched socks. She saw Lena and gasped. You're real, she said. I thought maybe Dad made you up. Sophie, Jack groaned. We talked about Inside Voice. What? She said. I'm excited. Jack stood and gave Lena an almost uncertain smile. Hey, he said. You made it. Yeah, she said. I almost turned around twice, but then I remembered the lasagna. Sophie tugged on Lena's hand. I'm Sophie, she announced. I hate broccoli, love dinosaurs, and I can burp the alphabet. Sophie, Jack repeated, horrified. We definitely did not agree to lead with that fact. Lena laughed. That's an impressive skill set. Sophie nodded. Dad says it's not useful, but what does he know? He wore 2 different shoes to pick up once. Jack covered his face. Traitor. They squeezed into the booth, Sophie claiming the middle seat so she could talk to both grown-ups equally. Dad says you help kids in the hospital, Sophie said between breadsticks. Are you scared of blood? Not really, Lena said. Are you? No, Sophie said. I'm scared of spiders and the dark and when Dad tries to cook pancakes. Hey, Jack protested. Those pancakes were abstract. They were charcoal, Sophie said. Mr. Russo arrived with plates. Ah, my Tuesday family is growing, he said. Beautiful, extra garlic bread, on the house. Dinner felt strangely natural. Sophie talked, a lot, about school, about a friend who cheated at tag, about her favorite book where the dragon was secretly lonely. Jack listened to both of them at once, answering questions about homework and laughing at Lena's stories from the hospital. At one point, Sophie tilted her head at Lena. Dad said you were crying last time, she said, when the mean man was loud. Lena's fork paused. Yeah, she said slowly. I was pretty sad. Sophie thought about this. Are you sad now? She asked. Not right now, Lena replied. Good, Sophie said. Dad said if I ever see someone being sad because of a bully, I should sit with them. So if you're sad, I can sit on your lap. I'm very heavy. It helps. Lena smiled, her eyes burning in a different way now. I'll remember that, she said. Tuesdays became their ritual. Every week, same booth, same lasagna, same chaos. Sometimes Sophie fell asleep with her head in Lena's lap, while Jack and Lena finished their coffees and whispered about life across the table. Sometimes Lena arrived directly from a shift, exhausted, hair in a messy bun, dark circles under her eyes. Jack always looked at her the same way. Long night? He'd ask. Very, she'd say. You still showed up? He'd reply. That counts. Somewhere between garlic bread and tiramisu, Jack and Lena slowly turned into Jack and Lena and Sophie. It wasn't sudden. It was 100 small things. Sophie texting from Jack's phone, Lena, look, I lost my tooth. Photo of a bloody smile. Lena replying, you look like a fierce pirate. Did the tooth fairy survive? Jack sending a picture of a badly braided ponytail. Attempt number 3. Please rate from 1 to call emergency services. Lena sending back a voice note with tips. It wasn't perfect. Grief still lived in Jack's house, in the empty side of the bed, in the framed photos of Brooke on the wall, in the way Sophie sometimes went quiet when other kids talked about their moms. One night, after Sophie had a meltdown because another child at school said, "At least you still have a dad," Jack sat in the car outside Lena's apartment, staring at the steering wheel. When Lena came down, he said, "I yelled at her. She was rude to the kid, and I snapped. Then she started crying about missing Brooke, and I felt like the worst dad on earth." "You're not," Lena said. "You're a dad who gets tired and scared and overwhelmed. That's every dad." He looked at her, eyes shining. "You're good with her," he said. "She listens to you." "That's because I don't make her eat broccoli," Lena said. They both laughed. Then life did what life does. It threw them another hard day. A baby on Lena's ward crashed unexpectedly. They did everything. It wasn't enough. After standing with the parents while the doctor said the words she hated, we did everything we could. Lena barely made it to the staff bathroom before the tears broke free. Her hands shook so badly, she dropped her ID badge. When she finally got a break, she texted without thinking. From Lena, "I'm not okay." From Jack, "Where are you?" From Lena, "St. Mary's, staff entrance." From Jack, "On my way." 20 minutes later, he was there, hair damp from the rain, jacket half-zipped. She walked outside and saw him leaning against his car. One look at her face, and he opened his arms. She went into them and just cried. "I lost him," she choked. "I did everything right, and I still lost him. He was so small, Jack. It's not fair. It's never fair." He held her as she shook. "You held him," Jack said quietly. "You showed up. You fought for him. That matters. I watched nurses do that for Brooke's patients. It mattered even when it didn't change the outcome." They sat in the car, windows fogging, sharing Mr. Russo's chicken soup and a small square of tiramisu he'd packed for emergencies. Grief sat in the back seat with them like an uninvited guest. Neither of them tried to kick it out. They just made room. Somewhere in all of this, Lena realized she'd stopped thinking of herself as too much when she was with them. She laughed loud and no one flinched. She cried and no one told her she was dramatic. She ate lasagna and dessert and no one commented on her plate. One Thursday, sitting in their corner of the cafe, watching Jack stir his coffee with more energy than necessary, she understood. "I'm in love with him," she thought. It was terrifying. She didn't say it, not yet. She'd spent too much of her life being almost enough for the wrong people. She wasn't sure she could survive being not enough for the right one. And then came the Tuesday that changed everything. The air was crisp outside, the restaurant warm and golden inside. String lights framed the windows. Someone had put a vase of tiny pumpkins by the door. Sophie was at a sleepover, so it was just Jack and Lena at the booth, like a quieter version of their usual Tuesdays. They'd just started on their lasagna when Jack put his fork down. "I've been seeing someone," he said. Her heart dropped into her stomach. "Oh," she said, forcing a smile that felt like it might crack. "That's a therapist," he blurted. Not like that. A therapist." She blinked. "Not what I expected." "Yeah, I know. Terrible timing," he said. I needed help sorting out what was grief, what was fear, and what was something else." He looked down at his hands. "I told her about you," he said. "About the restaurant, about the coffees, about how Sophie adores you, about how you sat in my car crying over a kid you'd known for 3 days. He swallowed. "She listened," he went on, "and then she said, 'Jack, that's not a casual friendship you're describing.'" He gave a helpless little laugh. "Lena," he said, finally lifting his eyes to hers, "I'm in love with you." The restaurant blurred around them. "I tried so hard to file it under gratitude," he continued. "I told myself I just liked having another adult to talk to. that I just wanted Sophie to have someone kind in her life. But the truth is, when something good happens, you're the first person I want to tell. When something hurts, you're the one I want beside me. When I picture the future, you're there. He let out a shaky breath. I still love Brooke, he said. That's never going to change, but loving you doesn't erase that. It just adds another room to the house. Tears slid down Lena's cheeks. I'm scared, she whispered. Every guy I've been with made me feel like I had to be less emotional, less loud, less me. Part of me keeps waiting for you to wake up and think, actually, she is too much. Jack squeezed her hand. I've seen you exhausted, messy, mascara-streaked, covered in baby puke, crying over strangers' kids, he said. That's when I realized I was in trouble, not when you were dressed up in blue. He smiled a little. And I like trouble, he added. She laughed through the tears. I love you, she said quietly. I think I have for a while. I just didn't know how to say it. He exhaled, like he'd been holding his breath for months. Okay, he said. Then maybe we figure this out together. Slowly, carefully, with lots of lasagna. Their first kiss wasn't perfect. They knocked teeth. Someone at the bar wolf whistled. Mr. Russo clapped way too loudly. But it was real. Warm. Honest. Months later, in that same booth, with Sophie bouncing beside him and glitter in her hair, Jack knelt down on one knee. Lena Parker, he said, voice shaking just enough. You walked into the worst blind date of your life, and somehow made it the best Tuesday of mine. You loved my daughter long before you thought about loving me. You let me keep loving Brooke without making me choose. You never asked me to shrink my grief or yourself. Will you marry us? Sophie leaned into the microphone of the moment. Say yes, she whispered loudly. I already told everyone at school you're my almost mom. Lena laughed and cried at the same time. Yes, she said. Of course, yes. On their wedding day, Lena didn't punish herself with diets. She chose a dress that fit her life, not a dress she had to change her body for. In his vows, Jack said, People once told you that you were too much, too big, too this, too that. The truth is, you were just too much for small-hearted people. For me, you are exactly enough. I promise to spend our life reminding you of that when the old voices get loud. In hers, Lena said, I thought I had to be smaller to be loved. You walked into my worst moment and pulled up a chair instead of walking away. You and Sophie have shown me that love isn't about shrinking to fit someone's idea. It's about growing together, even on hard Tuesdays. Today, on random weeknights, if you walk into Willow and Vine, you might see them. Jack and Lena side by side in their booth, Sophie talking too loud. Two little twin boys now flinging pasta at each other, while Mr. Russo pretends to be outraged and brings extra napkins. Sometimes Lena catches her reflection in the restaurant window. Same soft stomach, same round arms, same face she used to criticize in every mirror. But the story she tells herself is different now. She doesn't hear Brandon's voice anymore. She hears Sophie's, Unicorns are just horses who believe in themselves. She hears Jack's, You were never too much, they were too little. And slowly, steadily, she started to believe it. Take a moment. If someone has ever called you too fat, too much, not enough, if someone's cruelty still echoes in your head long after they've left your life, I want you to hear this. Their words are not the truth. They're just noise. You are not a before picture. You are not a project to fix. You are a whole, worthy human being who deserves to sit at tables with people who pull out a chair for you, not people who throw a bill on the table and walk away. Now, I'd really love to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment like Lena's, where someone's words stuck with you for years? Or a moment like Jack's, where someone stood up for you when you couldn't stand up for yourself? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to read tonight. And if this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Extraordinary Stories. Tap the like button. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder that they are enough exactly as they are. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next story.